One of our primary duties as citizens is to be very critical of our government. That is how we keep the government in check. Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, you are going to be shocked. I thought that prices were going up. But when you see this list that I found, you'll see exactly how much they're going to be going up. And although we think that prices are up now, I'm going to show you why, taking a look at this list, why they're going to go up even higher at the grocery store and at the pump and your heating fuel, whatever kind of fuel you use, you're going to be paying a lot more for that. Because a lot of these prices here, the price increases, a lot of them have just occurred this last month. So it may take a month or two for it to go ahead and trickle down to you and me, the average person on the street. Now, these lists are pretty difficult to find. I was actually looking all morning to try to find a list of commodity prices and how much they've gone up in price, since the last year or so. And I found this one, which is great because it breaks it down to what percentage they've gone up in the last month, year over year, and also from the beginning of this year to now, from January 1st to today. Okay, so we're going to go over this. We're only going to go over the ones that really apply to us because some of these are like prices that are increasing like in Russia and other countries, but we'll go ahead and do the ones that apply to us. There's quite a few to go over, and I'm going to try to go over them real quickly. That way this video doesn't go too long. So let's take a look at this. First, let me finish off my intro by saying that, ladies and gentlemen, you all know that I think that the words that come out of government pundits' mouths are no good. You can't trust them. You can't believe what they're telling you. Does the Federal Reserve / the government really expect the U.S. citizens to believe that inflation is only 2-point-something%? I think they just came out a few days ago and said that inflation is now 2.3 or 2-point-something%. Do they really expect us to believe this? When we're the ones paying the prices, like I've said in the past, these people that pass these laws, make these rules, regulations, whatever you want to call it, that affect us, that increase what we have to pay to live on an everyday basis, do you really think that these price increases affect them? Ask yourself, if you were a multi-millionaire, which I would say that everyone in government, i.e. the 537 that sit on the Hill, and all of the Federal Reserve presidents and the Federal Reserve Chairman himself, which I believe is worth over $100 million in nominal terms. Do you think that it matters to them if gasoline goes up by 30%? Do you think that it matters to them or that it's going to affect their bottom line if the price of meat doubles in 1 year or the price of oil goes up by 80%? It matters not. So when they pass these regulations, they're passing it through a smokescreen. They're looking through a smokescreen, seeing what they think they see because it does not affect them the way it affects us. Let's go ahead and get started. So as you can see here, this is broken down by whatever commodity it may be, okay? All the way down from just the average commodity price index, which means all commodities combined into one, all the way down to individual things like diesel, gasoline, heating oil. And you'll see here that this is the 1 month change. So how much has it changed in 1 month? This is the 12-month, the year-over-year change. So at this time last year, how much has it increased or decreased from this time last year? And this is the year-to-date change, meaning that from January 1st of this year to today, what is the change, all right, in percentage as far as prices go? And we'll go ahead and start with our commodity index, which is just all of the commodities put into one. And you can see that 1 month change, not too much, only 2.41%. But if you take it back 1 year, it's a 26.78% increase from 1 year ago. Now that to me, ladies and gentlemen, sounds a little more than 2-point-something%, whatever it is that the pundits out there put out that inflation is, when it really is not. Now, I'm not sure when they refer to inflation, if they're referring to it in the actual meaning of the term inflation, which is the inflation of the money supply. But I'm pretty sure that when they're talking on camera and they say inflation, they're talking about the CPI, the Consumer Price Index. All right, because we all know, all of us who have educated ourselves and how this financial system works here in the United States and other countries abroad, we all know that inflation is the actual inflation of the money supply, of the money base, right? And then we all know that the consumer price index is the inflation in prices of the things that we pay for. So in 1 year, 26, let's say 27%. Let's go for the fuel index, which is all fuels put together. Month over month, ladies and gentlemen, 14%. Year over year, 21.94%. Let's go for the commodity food index, which is all foods. 26% year over year, ladies and gentlemen. Only almost 1% month over month. But when you take that 1% and you aggregate it and you keep rolling it on top of each other month over month, it's a lot more than 12% in 1 year. But as you can see, last year we had pretty high inflation in foods as well, because year over year we're at 26.24%, ladies and gentlemen. Incredible. Metals prices, 45%. That's why your washing machine is going to cost a lot more here come in the future, ladies and gentlemen, if not already. I've heard some people say that they're paying twice as much for a washing machine or a dryer as they did last year, and that makes perfect sense. Fuel price index, 28%. Let's take a look at just oil. Oil, 13%. But let's take a look at what really matters to us. To us, what really matters is the West Texas Intermediate. That's the oil that we produce here in the United States. 17%, ladies and gentlemen, year over year. And just in the last month alone, 13%. Now, this is the one right here. Well, all of these actually affect us greatly. Diesel, 10% year over year. Just in the last month, ladies and gentlemen, diesel, almost 14%, 13.5%. Why does that affect you and affect me? How do things get transported to the stores? How does grain get transported to the ranches that need them? Exactly, we need fuel. How do farmers farm their fields with tractors? Diesel. It's used in almost everything as far as transportation goes in bulk. Look at this, gasoline. Just last month, gasoline was up 12.67%. And year over year, 11.46%. This one kind of scares me a little bit, because here, just in 1 month, it's gone up 13% for heating oil. You know, so I'm glad that I went ahead and had my heating oil topped off sometime last December, thinking that oil prices were going to go up, and they did. So year over year is only 5%, but just in the last month alone, it's been 13%, ladies and gentlemen. Incredible. I really feel sorry for people that heat their homes with natural gas. I thought I had it bad with a 13% increase in heating oil. Look at natural gas. In 1 month alone, 90%. Year over year, 167%. Same thing with propane. Year over year, 128%. And in this 1 month alone, just in 1 month, almost 5%. Incredible, ladies and gentlemen. Do they really think that we're that stupid? You see, this is what bothers me about finding things like this that contradict what we're being told in the mainstream, either by the Federal Reserve Chairman, any of the Federal Reserve presidents, or their pundits on the mainstream media, where they're telling us that, yeah, inflation is here, but it's not that bad. Is 166% to heat your home? That's not bad? Like I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, these people don't know what reality really is. To them, reality is someone knocking at their door and saying, "Sir, ma'am, are you ready to go? I'm your driver for the day." To them, that's what reality is. To them, reality is not pumping their own gas. To them, reality is not going to the supermarket and trying to figure out what you can skimp on this month because you don't have enough money to buy everything that you need for your family so that they can be well fed. To them, that's not reality, ladies and gentlemen. To them, reality is getting on a computer, ordering everything they want without even looking at the price and having it delivered to their doorstep, and then having their butler or their maid put it away for them. That's reality for them, ladies and gentlemen. These are the people that are passing the regulations, that are doing the things that's affecting the prices of everything that we need in order to live and in order to have a decent standard of living. Don't ever believe what they tell you. Always research. Always look beyond what they're telling you. Try to read between the lines. And that's why I like to do these videos. I think it's very important for me to put these up. I'm compelled to put these videos up. Why? Because we need to educate ourselves. If we don't educate ourselves, we will not ever get out of the rut that we're in and trusting government. I know that probably most of you that are listening to this video don't really have a trust for government. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? That's a good thing. Some people think that, oh, you don't trust your government, you're not very patriotic. No. One of our primary duties as citizens is to be very critical of our government. That is how we keep the government in check. And as long as these mainstream media pundits don't ask the hard questions, then it's up to us to do our own research and to look it up so that we can act in a way that we can protect ourselves in the future against what's coming. This is coming, ladies and gentlemen. You think that let's take a look at this natural gas, 89% in the last month. That's probably not being felt right now because they're still going through stock that they had. But that's going to be felt here in the next month or months to come. It'll eventually trickle down. Because right now, whatever you're paying for natural gas, let's say, it may not reflect that it went up 89% last month. Because you're still working off of the old stock. But eventually, you will realize that increase in your gas bill. Let's take a look at what else they have here. Let's get into the food category here. Or look at this. Well, cocoa, let's take a look at some things that actually went down because I want to be fair. So we finished off on protein. We finished up on propane. Let's take a look at cocoa beans. Cocoa beans went down 11% year over year. However, they went up almost 1% this last month. Coffee, ladies and gentlemen, 22.4% year over year and almost 3.5% this last month. Let's take a look at some of these other things. Corn. All right, ladies and gentlemen, corn. One of the things that we use the most. Corn, wheat, soybean. Those are the three commodities that are farmed here that we use the most. It's used in almost every food that we eat. Corn, 45%. And look at this. Month over month, 4.59%. That means that if this is adjusted annually, you're looking at about another 50%, 60%. More than 60% corn will go up by the end of this year if it continues this trend. And it looks like it is continuing the trend because we're at 45% year over year. So I'm not sure if you remember, but I've stated it several times. I predicted here a couple of months back that by the end of the year, our food prices for most things that we use, especially the things that we need to live on, are going to increase by at least 50%. And I stand by that. I see that we have at least a 50% increase in the price of those staples that we need in order to survive. I'm not talking about the fancy stuff. I'm talking about the things that we need to survive. And corn is definitely one of them. Rice, ladies and gentlemen, 23.78% year over year. And a whopping 2.2% month over month. That's a 30% increase by the end of the year, just on rice. And rice is still cheap. And I remember doing a video a while back saying that the rice that I buy at Costco, the long grain rice, the 50-pound bag used to be like $21. And now it's like $27, almost $28. And that sounds just about right. It's actually a little more than 24% increase. But that sounds just about right. When I see these numbers and I match them to whatever it is, I don't just see the number. But I see the things that will increase in price. Ask yourselves a question, ladies and gentlemen, when you go to the store and buy something. Obviously, bread has wheat in it. But how many other things have wheat in it? All of those things are about to go up. Oranges, well, we know that Texas had a deep freeze here a few months ago in February, and that they lost a lot of their orange crop and grapefruit crops. So obviously, this is going up. Year over year. Here it says negative 7.94%, but I see it going up this year a lot more. This is going to turn into a positive, not a negative. Pork, ladies and gentlemen, month over month, 13.71% and 33% for year over year on pork. One of the cheapest cuts of meat that you can get. Not anymore. Let's take a look at sugar imports for the U.S. Month over month, almost 5%. 12% year over year. Coconut oil, 70% year over year. It's gone down a little bit, but like I said, coconut oil is another one of those things that will be going up. Olive oil, ladies and gentlemen, extra virgin olive oil, month over month, 12%. Year over year, 42%. Palm oil, 39.59%. Now, many of you may say, well, these oils are no good for you anyways. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether they're no good for you or not. A lot of people use these oils and they depend on these oils in order to be able to cook the things that they eat on a regular basis. So it does matter. And the reason it does matter is because these oils are probably the cheaper oils to produce. So even imagine if the cheaper oils to produce are going up in price like this, all of the better oils are going to go up in price even more, as we see here with extra virgin olive oil. Let's take a look at some of the other oils. Soybean oils, 29%. Soybean meal, 51%. I do believe that they use soybean meal to feed animals. Soybeans up 53%. And although we all know that soybeans are probably not the greatest thing for you, it's still used in a lot of the things that we consume. We just don't know that it's used. Cotton, 21% year over year. Things like this, rubber. We may think, oh, this is not going to affect me. What's the big deal? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we all use tires on our vehicles, right? 46% year over year on rubber. And it's now trending at a little over 2% month over month. Aluminum, 23%. Copper, 48, almost 49%. We won't even bother with gold. Iron ore, 87%, almost 88% year over year. And I mean, these are the other metals. We won't bother with silver because that's not... I'm looking at things that like we need. Well, we do need silver. Silver up 52%, right? From year over year. Even though it's still undervalued, it's still up 52%. What does that mean? Manufacturers need silver in order to manufacture stuff. And whether the price is manipulated or not, that doesn't matter. If they're paying more for something to make something, they're going to charge you more for that stuff that they're making and selling to you. Let's take a look if there's anything else. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave the link to this article at the bottom of the video so that you can come and take a look at it. You can actually click on each one of these. Like, for example, let's go to diesel, or let's go to heating fuel or heating oil, since I'm interested in that. It'll take you to an actual chart and show you what the price was 6 months ago, but you can go out 1 year. See, if you click here where it says 1 year, you go out 1 year. So this is April 2020. April 2020, 85 cents. All right, heating oil was 85 cents per gallon. Today, $1.67. That is, goodness gracious, that's almost, actually no, this was $1.67 yesterday. No, February. Today it's $1.72. So we're looking at more than 100% increase in heating oil from this time last year. Ladies and gentlemen, just buckle in and keep doing what you're doing. Continue to prepare. I've stated several times, prices are going to continue to go up. However, they're not going to go down. If they go down, it'll be in localized events. For example, maybe something will go down a little bit here or there. But for the majority of prices of the things that we actually really need in order to maintain our standard of living, ladies and gentlemen, is going down. Why? Because prices are going up. So protect yourself. How do you protect yourself? First, go ahead and educate yourself. Make sure that you put in the time to do research like this. For example, I'm going to leave the link to this article at the bottom of the description of the video. Take a look at it. Go click on it. Take a look at it for yourselves. Read up on some of this stuff. That way you can convince yourself. Don't allow me to convince you. Convince yourself of what is occurring and what implications it has for our future. That way you can be better prepared. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and leave it at that. Hopefully you got something out of this, and I really hope that you go ahead and do a little bit of your own research. That way you can be encouraged to prep like you've never prepped before. This is the time, ladies and gentlemen. This is the time. I'm going to keep saying this until I can't say it anymore, because it's the truth. We need to prep now. You need to get the stuff that you need now. I'm not a financial advisor, but I will say this. I would rather have my money in my pantry than have it in the bank. Because having it in the bank is doing absolutely nothing but losing value. It kills me. It really kills me to think that I have some cash set aside for emergencies, and it kills me to know that that cash is just losing value day over day over day. But the reason I keep cash to the side is because if something happens that is systemic in the banking system and I can't get into my bank account for whatever reason, I can at least have a little bit of cash set aside in order to get those things that I need. All right? So, but it kills me to know that that cash is just sitting there, losing value day after day after day. So ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and prepare yourselves, educate yourselves, and do the best that you can in order to ensure and secure your family's future when it comes to realizing a decent standard of living going forward. Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. I'm Alaska Prepper. I am out.